Hello distinction students, I trust you are all doing okay. Welcome to our online class with Dr. Peter Knowledge World Academy. In today's video, we are simply going to discuss a very interesting topic in science, which is blood. We are going to define what blood is. We discuss the importance of blood as well as components of blood. Then, with the same topic, in the next video, I'll be able to come up with exam paper questions. We see how they ask questions, and I'll be able to show you how to answer the questions. Okay, so get a piece of paper and be able to write important points. Okay, the first slide is all about blood. So we have to know what blood is. Okay, it's a very interesting topic. So let us know what blood is, and then we'll see how we'll be able to answer questions in an exam. So this video, once you understand it, you'll be able to answer questions that will be asked in the next video, or that might come in your test anytime from now. Okay, so what is blood? Okay, so blood is simply a red looking fluid made up of the red blood cells, white blood cells, plasma and platelets. Blood is made up mostly in the bone marrow. Blood has several functions, such as fighting against bacteria that brings about diseases. Okay, so blood, what you need to know, the most important part about blood is that you have to know that blood is not one thing. It could look like one thing, like a glass of water, though it is made up of several components. How many components have we discussed in this slide? We have discussed about 4 components. Components is simply something that makes up blood. And then for us to say blood in general, we're talking about the red blood cells, we're talking about the white blood cells, the plasma and platelets. These 4 things, you bring them together, they're going to form what? Blood. They're going to form blood, the very same blood that we're trying to discuss today. So we'll be able to discuss the importance of blood, as well as the functions of blood in the human body. Okay, in the second slide we also continue on blood. So blood has several components, of which we have already discussed. We have the red blood cells, we have the white blood cells, blood plasma and blood platelets. We start with the red blood cells. So the red blood cells are also called erythrocytes. They are called erythrocytes. Okay, you just have to be different sometimes. We mostly use red blood cell, but sometimes you can also call it erythrocyte. That's a very nice word. Okay, so what are red blood cells? Okay, so these are simply red cells that transport oxygen to the organs and tissues of the body. Okay, so what this statement is trying to explain is that we know that we human beings, we need oxygen for us to survive. Our organs inside our human bodies, they work well with oxygen. Without oxygen, we human beings, we cannot survive. No wonder we breathe in oxygen, then there are the lungs. Blood will reach the lungs, then it will collect oxygen and transport it to the body organs as well as tissues. Okay, the second point, blood also transports waste product such as carbon dioxide from the cells and carries it away. Okay, so this point is simply direct. What it is trying to say is that waste product, these are products that are used by the body and they are no longer important to the body. When something is not important, of course, we no longer need it in our body. It has to be removed. So blood also, it transports waste product such as carbon dioxide from the organs and tissues, taking it away from the body. Like we exhale, we breathe out carbon dioxide. Okay, so I want you to understand one thing. Blood transports oxygen and blood transports carbon dioxide, but only few percentage of carbon dioxide. Well, we'll be able to discuss more about these things as we continue in the same topic. Okay, the last point, blood simply makes up about 45% of the body blood system. Okay, so these are the most important things that you have to know in the red blood cell, under the red blood cells. Okay, we continue with the red blood cells, which are also called the erythrocytes. The red blood cells contains a substance called hemoglobin. Okay, so they'll ask you a question in an exam to say, what protein or what substance is found in blood that carries or that pulls oxygen once it reaches the lungs? You simply say the answer is hemoglobin. Okay, so hemoglobin picks up oxygen when the blood passes through the lungs, just like what I explained previously. Okay, once we inhale, we take in oxygen. We know that that oxygen will reach our lungs, and in there at the lungs, blood will come and get that oxygen and carries it to the most important organs in the human body, as well as tissues. Okay, the hemoglobin is also responsible for the red color that blood has. So the reason why red blood cells have a red color, it is because of the presence of the hemoglobin. Okay, so that's all you have to know at this at this point. That's all you have to know. Now, what are the functions of the red blood cells? Okay, what are the importance of red blood cells? Now, we have already discussed what red blood cells are and already mentioned some few important points. Those who are paying particular attention are able to answer this question. Okay, the first one, you simply say it transports oxygen to the body organs and tissues. Then apart from that, it transports carbon dioxide, which is one of the waste products from the body, and carries it away. So here in the picture, simply showing blood that is carrying oxygen from the lungs to the body organs, passing through a blood vessel. Don't worry, we'll be able to look at blood vessels as we continue in our online videos. We move to white blood cells. So these are cells that helps protect the body against diseases caused by bacteria. The white blood cell protect the body from foreign organisms and infections. Okay, so we have talked about the red blood cells. Now we're talking about the white blood cells. Now, white blood cells, these are also components of blood, and then we have discussed to say these their duty is to protect the body against foreign bacteria that may cause to or that may bring to diseases. Okay, so we have the white blood cells that are responsible to fight against micro-causing diseases. What are the functions of the white blood cell? Okay, so here we have the white guy there, that's symbolizing the white blood cell. Then we have the green guy there, who is simply representing the, let's say, the foreign bacteria. Okay, so what happens is that once a bacteria enters our bloodstream, white blood cells will be produced and they will fight against the same infection. I guess you have been in a situation whereby you are not feeling fine, but after some time you are healed. Have you ever asked yourself a question, how am I healed, but though I've not even drinking medicine and I've not even reached the hospital? Okay, well, we have the white blood cells in our blood system that are able to fight against micro-causing bacteria. So there in the picture you can see that the white blood cells is trying to fight against the foreign bacteria. And then, well, white blood cells are very much strong and they're going to conquer that bacteria. Those bacteria will die and you're going to feel much better. Okay, so what can we say in a point form? So we have a few points here on the left side. We are simply saying that the body releases a lot of white blood cells once it detects bacteria in the body. They protect the body by fighting bacteria that bring diseases. Okay, we move to platelets. Okay, so how do platelets look like? Okay, there's a picture here on the right side. Have you seen those filaments? It's more like it was a red blood cell, but it has something like arms, but not necessarily arms. So that's the platelets. And those fibers, they also have functions. We already know that platelets, they play an important role in blood clotting. Well, let us try to know what platelets are. So platelets are not cells, but they are tiny fibers of other cells. Okay, that's a very important point. Platelets travel to the injured blood vessel to form a clot that helps stop bleeding. Apart from that, they form a long thread that stick together to form a clot. Okay, now how does the platelets cover the wound? So I guess you have been in a situation whereby you have hurt yourself and then blood has started to come out. Then after some time you discover that blood will stop coming out. So have you ever asked yourself a question, why has blood stopped coming out? Well, under this online video we'll be able to discuss such questions. Okay, so the answer is very much simple. Here's the answer. We have one component of blood which is called platelets. So these are going to seal that wound and they're going to prevent excess loss of blood. Okay, now how do they do that? There are those arms that the platelets are having, as you can see in the picture. So those, once they come together, or once they come closer to the injured vessel, they will attach each other to form a seal. The same seal is what we are calling as a clot. You might be wondering why you have some black spots on your body after you had after you were injured long time ago. Well, that's a clot. Blood has clot to prevent excess loss of blood. So platelets are very much important, as well as white blood cells and the red blood cells. Okay. Functions of blood platelets. They prevent the entry of bacteria. Okay, now what can we say about that point? Okay, so when you are injured, no wonder once you are injured they encourage to clean your wound, because they're trying to prevent bacteria from entering your blood vessels. Okay, so now with the importance of platelets, once that seal is covered, well, then the bacteria can't enter the blood vessel. The gate has been closed. The bacteria has nowhere to enter the body. Even if the bacteria was to enter, remember, we have another component of blood that helps to fight foreign bacteria. And what component is that? Yes, you are correct. It's the white blood cells. Okay, so apart from that, the platelets also prevent excess loss of blood. I want you to imagine a situation whereby, suppose you cut yourself and we never had platelets in our body. What could happen? We'll continue bleeding until blood finishes in our body. And once blood finishes in our body, remember, we won't have oxygen. And then at first I said oxygen is very much important. Without oxygen, we human beings, we can't survive. So the red blood cells won't be able to transport oxygen. Why? Because we don't have blood in our body. Have you seen? So all these components, they work together. Apart from that, the platelets also help. It is the first part of healing the wound. It is the first part of healing the what? The wound. Before we put the bandage there, before we press everything, blood clotting, it is the first part of healing the wound. Now we move to blood plasma. Okay, so I guess I've heard of this. It's the famous one, the blood plasma. So plasma is a liquid part of the body. It contains mostly water and helps carry materials through our body. Okay, so this plasma is just simply found together with blood, and they move together with blood. Okay, it helps to carry different kind of material in our body. Okay, that's all about plasma. Nothing much to know about this. So there we have a picture That's how plasma looks like. That's how plasma looks like. A yellowish fluid. And it is very much important to carry different kind of materials through our bodies. Now we come to the most important part, the functions of blood. Okay, let me explain one thing before I explain these points that are written in this slide. Okay, when you're asked what are the importance of blood, remember what I said earlier. Blood is not one thing. Blood is comprised of 4 components. We have the white blood cells, we have the red blood cells, we have plasma, and we have platelets. So when they tell you to list the functions of blood, you can mention the function of the white blood cells, you can mention the function of the red blood cells, you can mention the function of platelets as well as plasma. Why? Because all these components make up what? Blood. Okay, so what can we say? The first one, we are saying blood helps transport oxygen to all parts of the body. Apart from that, blood helps in clotting to prevent loss of blood. Apart from that, blood helps to fight bacteria that enters the body. 4. Blood helps to maintain body temperature. 5. Blood helps to remove waste product from the body tissues and carries them away. Okay, so the first one, blood helps transport oxygen. Which component of blood transports oxygen? You say the red blood cell. Point 2, blood helps in clotting to prevent loss of blood. Which component of blood helps in blood clotting? It's platelets. Point 3, blood fights bacteria that enters the body. What component of blood is that? Well, it's white blood cells. Yes. Point 4, blood helps to maintain body temperature. Okay, this point is very much important. Let me explain. Okay, so what happens is that when it's very much hot and sometimes when it's very much cold, no wonder you feel very much, no wonder your arms and your legs, they feel very much cold faster than the entire body. It's because blood helps to maintain body what? Temperature. Yes, the very same blood. It helps to maintain what? Body temperature. Then point 5, it removes waste product. Well, we looked about the red blood cells, which carries waste products such as carbon dioxide from the body organs and carries it away. Well, these are the functions of the red blood cells. You don't have to master them, you just have to understand them. Okay. So thank you for your time and thank you for watching this video. This is grade 5 to 7 online class science ECZ. So after this video, I'll be able to send questions and you guys will be asked to participate. I'll be able to mark and give you back the reviews. You can reach out to me on the number that you're seeing on the screen here, as well as my email. Okay, wishing you all the best and stay blessed.